Think of the last time you enjoyed a seafood meal at a fast food chain. Now, imagine the story behind it, a tale of ambition, innovation, and resilience. This is the story of how Long John Silver's became the most iconic seafood chain in the U.S. You'll discover the remarkable journey of Long John Silver's, an iconic establishment that navigated through economic hardships and pioneered innovative dining concepts. Each chapter of its history is filled with daring strategies and unexpected twists, unveiling a truly American tale of perseverance and ingenuity. The birth of a seafood empire. Let's start our journey in 1929. Jerome Lederer had just opened the White Tavern Shoppe in Shelbyville, Kentucky. Even during the tough times of the Great Depression, the White Tavern Shoppe became popular and grew to 13 locations. However, World War II's impact was severe, causing the closure of 10 shops due to shortages of meat, sugar, and manpower. After World War II, Jerome Lederer reorganized his business, establishing Jerrico Inc. in 1946. He opened a new restaurant in Lexington, Kentucky, named Jerry's Five and Dime, promoting 15-cent roast beef sandwiches. But Lederer soon realized that this price was too high for customers, which is why he shifted Jerry's focus to hamburgers in 1947. In 1948, Warren W. Rosenthal, a student who rented a room from Lederer, stepped in to manage the restaurants. This marked the beginning of an exciting partnership. Could his partnership with Lederer turn the tide for Jerrico Inc? Brace yourself for the unexpected twist that reshaped their culinary journey. Rosenthal, considering careers in retailing and life insurance, chose to join the restaurant business instead. Together, they aimed to create a restaurant concept that could go nationwide. At Jerry's, they tried out new menu ideas, drawing inspiration from other restaurants. The late 1950s saw a boom in dining out and overall growth in the restaurant industry. Jerrico, the company running Jerry's restaurants, was right in the middle of this boom. By 1957, they were operating 7 Jerry's restaurants and were among the first to use franchising for expansion. Rosenthal, who became Jerrico's CEO, was key to this growth. After Lederer died in 1963, Rosenthal became the president and owner of the company. Navigating uncharted waters. Jerrico stood out in the food service industry for its innovative and risk-taking approach. They dived into a variety of restaurant ideas, from Lott's, famous for its roast beef and sandwiches, to Davy's Dock, a full-service seafood haven. They even ventured into Spanish cuisine with Don Q's and upscale dining with the Governor's Table. But it was in 1969 when Rosenthal, intrigued by the quick-service seafood market, made a pivotal move. He saw an opportunity to compete with the American fast food staples of hamburgers, pizza, and fried chicken. Rosenthal then persuaded Jerry's restaurant franchisee James Patterson to join Jerrico. Patterson played a significant role in developing the concept and became Long John Silver's first president. That same year, after Jerrico went public, Rosenthal launched Long John Silver's Fish and Chips. The name was inspired by Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island, and the first restaurant opened on Southland Drive in Lexington. This initial outlet was a hit, and Long John Silver's quickly expanded into a successful chain. By the end of 1971, over 200 LGS units were operational. Long John Silver's restaurants were designed to feel like a seaside seafood spot. They had brass lanterns, signal flags, and boat oars. The original menu had basic items like battered fish, chicken, fries, and hush puppies. But Warren W. Rosenthal, observing the struggles of a competitor with a limited menu, decided to add more seafood choices to LGS's menu. This led to a broader range of seafood offerings. By 1973, the chain's name changed to Long John Silver's Seafood Shops. Economic challenges and strategic shifts. The 1980s were a time of rapid growth for LGS, but it also brought leadership changes and other challenges. Ernest E. Renaud, who was the president of LGS, also became president of Jerrico in 1982. Johnny Tobe took over as president of LGS in 1984. By 1984, Jerrico owned 812 of the 1,355 LGS restaurants. The chain was bringing in most of Jerrico's revenue and profits by 1987. With 1,421 outlets and sales of $451 million, LGS was a major player in the fast fish market. They weren't nationwide yet, but they were getting there, with plans to be all over the country by 1990. During this period, Jerrico's portfolio also included Jerry's restaurants and other new concepts, such as Florin's, a full-service Italian restaurant in Ohio, and Grazie's, a fast-food Italian restaurant launched in 1988. They diversified their business, partly because the cost of Icelandic cod, a main ingredient for LGS, was going up. Jerrico aimed to reduce dependence on LGS amid increasing operational costs and competition, including from grocers offering microwavable fast food. In 1989, Jerrico introduced Fazoli's, a quick-service Italian pasta restaurant. As the seas of the fast food industry grew stormier, a dramatic change loomed. What could possibly lead to a $620 million leveraged buyout? The next chapter in our tale reveals a pivotal moment of chaos and opportunity. As the economic recession hit, Jerrico faced turbulent times. This led to exciting discussions about a management-led buyout, a crucial turning point. In September 1989, Jerrico was acquired for $620 million in a leveraged buyout by Pisces Inc., a group comprising senior Jerrico executives and investment firms Castle Harlan and DJS Inverness. Rosenthal retired as chairman after 41 years. At this point, LGS, with 1989 sales of $826 million, became a subsidiary of Pisces Inc. Clinton A. Clark joined Long John Silver's, or LGS, as president in 1990. He came in during a tough time. The company just had a big buyout and was deep in debt. Under Clark's leadership, LGS started turning things around. They made a mission statement focusing on great food, happy customers, respect among employees, and aiming for excellence in the future. In 1990, LGS's parent company decided to put all their effort into LGS. This meant selling off their other restaurant brands, Jerry's, Fazoli's, and Florin's. A company in Atlanta bought Jerry's, and Fazoli's went to a Japanese-owned group. They tried to sell Florin's too, but it didn't work out, and those restaurants closed by 1991. After all these changes, the company was renamed Long John Silver's Restaurants Incorporated. Reinventing the ship. The 90s brought new tides of health consciousness. How did Long John Silver's adapt to stay afloat? The answer might surprise you. In the early 1990s, LGS started changing its menu to be more health-friendly. They added broiled and grilled dishes, which quickly became popular. In 1991, they introduced 3 baked meals during Lent. These were priced at about $4 and were baked instead of fried. Mary Roseman, who was in charge of nutrition at LGS, said that these meals did well, especially with good marketing. But keeping customers' interest was hard without constant advertising. LGS planned to start national advertising in a couple of years. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Long John Silver faced tough market conditions. A report by an Illinois market research firm showed that between 1986 and 1991, the popularity of seafood restaurants dropped slightly. Meanwhile, non-seafood chains were adding seafood items to their menus, creating more competition. To compete, LGS had to offer better value. Seafood was more expensive than typical fast food items like burgers and fries. So, in October, LGS launched a new value menu. Next up, how did their new value menu transform customer choices? This add-a-piece menu lets customers add extra fried fish, shrimp, or chicken to any meal for 69 cents or less. With basic meals priced around $1.99, this gave customers more options and simplified the menu. In 1992, Clinton A. Clark, who had been leading LGS, stepped down. Clyde E. Culp took over as president and CEO. Culp's goal was to boost the quick-service seafood sector using LGS's leading position. LGS also started experimenting with new service models. In 1993, they opened their first kiosk at a General Electric plant in Louisville, Kentucky. This kiosk, Long John Silver's Express, offered a smaller menu with just 4 meal choices. In its first 3 weeks, the kiosk brought in about 1,200 more customers for lunch. That summer, LGS found that drive-thru service was boosting sales by nearly 30% at outlets that offered it. They improved their carry-out containers and fry recipes to keep food warm and crispy for longer. In 1994, LGS tried a new marketing strategy. They tied it in with the Universal Pictures film Little Rascals for America's favorite shrimp game. This was a response to similar promotions by McDonald's and Burger King. Joby Dixon, LGS's vice president of marketing, noted that a good movie tie-in could bring in more customers. The promotion and the movie both did better than expected. Long John Silver's continued expanding in the 1990s, especially with kiosks at universities. In September 1994, they opened their very first West Coast kiosk at California Polytechnic State University. John Ramsey, the vice president of franchise development, believed college students would be drawn to familiar food brands from home. What happened when Long John Silver nearly joined forces with Arby's? An unexpected twist was just over the horizon. Trier Co., which owned Arby's, planned to buy LGS. The idea was to combine Arby's and LGS under one roof. However, the deal fell through in December due to rising interest rates and a tough financial market. Both companies, however, remained open to working together in the future. LGS also improved its menu with the Flavor Baked line in 1994. This included lighter options like chicken breast and fish sandwiches. They backed this up with a $5.5 million marketing campaign. By the end of 1994, LGS reported sales of $923 million from over 1,400 locations worldwide. They had a wide range of franchise partners and were still growing despite a significant debt from a buyout in 1989. The plan was to keep expanding through the 90s. Sailing into the future. In 2000, Yorkshire Global Restaurants, the parent company of LGS, started testing combined locations with Tricon Global, the owner of KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. In 2002, Yorkshire was acquired by Tricon, which then became Yum Brands. But by 2011, Yum Brands wanted to sell LGS due to poor sales and a focus on international growth. In September 2011, they announced the sale of LGS to a group of franchisees and investors. In 2013, there was some criticism about the Big Catch meal at Long John Silver's because it had a lot of fat and salt. By January 2014, the company removed trans fats from its menu. After 2 years, James O'Reilly, a former KFC executive, became CEO of LGS. He focused on overcoming the chain's negative press and looked at potential expansion. In 2018, LGS bought 76 franchised restaurants, mainly in Indiana. Today, Long John Silver's holds the title of the world's most popular quick-service seafood chain. With nearly 600 restaurants across the nation, they continue to serve a variety of seafood dishes to millions of customers. Their journey from a single concept to an industry leader showcases their adaptability and commitment to providing quality seafood fast.